Hello everyone, and welcome to another AFK Journey video. My name is Jedediah, and today I'm going to be talking to you again about Clashfronts, the PvP game inside of AFK Journey, and my guild BTGM. This is going to be Game 3, Round 1. There's not going to be a whole lot to go through, but we do have one tile full of battles to discuss, and some interesting stuff there. A couple of interesting things to note. I've already seen the results myself, but we're going to check them out. Replay, and here we go. So it's going to be BTGM versus Aeternum. At the bottom there's the skirmish, and there's a skirmish up top between Emeralds and Mordor. And you can see Ike comes through with Mightiest Vanguard, and Lord McSwagger from Mordor gets the win for his group. And then you can see it's 9,000 versus 6,100 on the strength of stamina, and you know, somewhere around the same thing on the top, but in Mordor's favor. We got Yantron getting a streak, Wayfarer getting a streak. I had a streak earlier. Boss gets a streak. Vixen for Mordor up top gets a streak. Nico gets a streak. Bangs for Emeralds gets a streak up top. Enora gets a streak up top. Amdal gets a streak for us. Nami comes through with a 5 win. And you can see there's never really in doubt. Nico gets a streak. Seth win, I can't say that. Up top gets a streak from Mordor. I'm not even gonna try to say that. Whitebeard gets a streak. 0. Spelled Leet Speak style gets a streak from, was that Mordor or was that Emeralds? Alright, doesn't matter. But we're gonna briefly talk about them first. And you can see there was almost no streaking for, in fact, it didn't even note any streaks for Aeternum, but we're going to see that they did get two 2-win streaks. But other than that, it was a domination from us, right? And in the trial stages, we get a 40 and a 25, and no one gets any higher than us as far as overall points, right? So we're leading at 285, Mordor's in second at 270 because they won their battle up top. Emeralds is in third at 120, and Aeternum is 115. So they're just 5 behind Emeralds, and we're only 15 ahead of Mordor, which makes sense because they got their 2 tiles, we got our 2 tiles, but we got a little bit of stronger showing here on the trial stages. So let's take a look at these, which I haven't seen these yet. So let's take a quick look between the Bangs and McSwagger. Let's see how close this ends up being. But you can see this is a strong Mahira group. I mean Marseille group with Mahira in it. So let's take a look at this variant. Alright, so Mahira is distracting everybody, but Marseille's putting out a bunch of damage. Nobody can ult because Gunlinger. And they're gone, pretty much. I mean, Sada's the only chance he had there. Igor, he's trying to stall out with Igor, and then hopefully he gets 3 ults with Seda, but there's just no way. He doesn't have enough damage to take out Marseille, and you gotta take out Marseille. A stall team is just not gonna work against Marseille in most cases. You gotta have some upfront burst damage to take that Marseille out, because if you don't, your stall team's never gonna get a chance to get going, right? So let's take a look at some of the fights between the two. So let's see who's streaking the hardest. So we had 2 for Enora, streaking with Shamira. We had 3 streak with Llama Life, with Bonnie Tassie, Citrana, and Landog. It's a 2 with Shamira. So no surprises here, you know, no unorthodox stuff here. You have Marseille, the standard composition. It's a 2. Bangs comes through for Emeralds. They finally get their first streak with the Cryo Kulu group. Praetorian gets a 2-win for them as well with the Shakir Perseus group. And Vixen gets a 3-win streak. Shamira again. Marusha with the Siren Lily May. Bangs gets a 4. I think that might be their best one yet as far as anybody there. And then it's the Seda Athalia stall group. Nora. Alright, nothing too crazy yet. 2 win for 0. We saw that line. Yep, Siren, May, Vixen. Another stall group. Scythe. I'm gonna try to say Synthwin? Synthwin? I don't know. With the Chimera, Journeywoman, Chimera, Double Dinho, Marseille, nothing new there. Bangs, okay, got a very low level Perseus group composition. 0. Chimera with only 4 people. Okay. Meraki, 2 win. Tassi Citrana. Okay, so no real surprises there. Worth noting that, yeah, they've got a cryo group. Here, that's an interesting cryo group. Might have to test against that. Alright, let's see if there's anything else interesting in here as far as their trial groups. No real surprises. All kind of our standard compositions that we're used to seeing. Alright, let's come take a look at ours. This is interesting to me from the standpoint that we pretty well dominated these guys, and they're not a weak team. Aeternum is not as strong as Mordor probably, but they're pretty strong. Let's see. I had no problems with this group. As Marcel dominated them. He's running the Radiant variant. He's also running it with Pack Bond. I'm not sure if that is a standard thing to do or not. Usually you're running the Arrow Storm thing, right? With Marseille, but Pack Bond is very strong, if not the strongest, especially when it comes to defense, to make that group a little stronger in defending and streaking. Alright, so unfortunately, I get beat right off the bat by Gigi. Let's take a look and see what happened there with this Dio group. His Dio gets blocked by Lily May. So if his Dio had come out, he may have had a chance to beat her, but that Siren was really hitting hard, right? And the Lily May. Yeah, but fortunately, this is a group effort, so I come in right behind him, take her out immediately, and then go on a 6-win streak. Alright, so, and that's my Gala group. Let's take a quick look at the last one for Gala group, which my group started off with Xandrock doing all the damage, but as I lost stamina, my Gala ended up playing a bigger role. So you can see all that melee damage is coming out. I've got almost no healing. The only healing I have is from Gala. And then she's doing mostly damage as well. So as you can see, oh yeah, Xandrock is healing himself. Thedor's got a little bit of healing from his abilities as well. So that's how I stay alive. Plus I have, you know, life drain as well. So that's nice coming from that artifact because I'm a heavy melee group with that. Wolf's doing a ton of healing. I'm not sure what the wolf does that does that, but I need to look more at the Phantasmals and their abilities. Anyway, yeah, I got a very strong 6-win streak to get us started off that after that Ike immediate loss, which is, again, not a big deal because look how strong Yantron comes up behind me, right? I end up getting beat when I get down to 58 stamina group. Yeah, Akulu Shamira group takes me out. So then May comes in and says, nope, I'm gonna get you. I got your back. She beats that group, then loses. Then Yantron comes in and goes on a 6-win streak with Bonnie Tassi, right? Versus Shamira. Let's take a quick look at that one. Iron's doing the normal things. They got all these people at the beginning of the match doing all their stuff that they do. Everybody's grouped up. Seismic's doing its thing. Their Shamira gets their ult off. But it's just too little too late because it dies eventually, doesn't even take out any of Yantron's guys. And it's over with. Excellent work for Yantron with the Bonnie Tassi. gets a 6-win streak. Then we don't see any more streaking for a while. It's back and forth until we get to Wayfarer. And Wayfarer comes through, goes all the way down to 48 stamina before they finally get beat. And they're running this interesting Seda group here, where they're buffing up Seda big time and running it as hard as they can. But this is an interesting fight. I think this is one of the most interesting fights of the entire match, because I watched it earlier. So let's take a look and see what happens here, right? So he's buffing Seda, you know, with the twins, with the Phantasmal, with Rowan, and then he's also got Sonya in there buffing Seda up. So it's just a big time, hey, let's pump everything we got into Seda, and hopefully Seda can just get those 3 ults and take them down. And as you can see, it's pretty well even at the beginning here. There's Shamir ults, and then Sonya goes down, Rowan goes down, the twins get the ult, but they're about to die. Seda gets her first ult off, I think, right there. And then there's Shamira, so now he's down to nothing but Seda, and he hasn't killed anything yet, right? So now there's the second ult right there. So Seda has 2 ults now. So she just needs the 1 more. That's all she needs to get off is 1 more, and then she's got a chance. Because, I mean, they're still full strength. Seda keeps dying. She just needs to get 1 more ult off. And then she's dying again. I think this might be her last chance here. And then she gets the ult right there, right? And then that is the 3rd ult, because they're going to start dropping like flies now. She's already killed, not Shamir yet. She's about to. Yeah. There goes, Niru. Now she's just ulting over and over, and now they're just dropping like flies. So there's 3 of them are gone. Now she's taking out Diamond, and then Shamira's the last one in the back there. She keeps getting feared by Diamond in the box, the Pandora's box. Pandora's box is already going off. No, does it go off one more time? Nope, I think that's it right there. That's it. That's game over. So it came down to just Seda just barely lasting through and getting that last ult off, and she was able to wipe out the entire team. As you can see, she pretty much did this all by herself with the buffs from everybody else coming through. Yeah, excellent fight there from Wayfarer to get squeeze 1 more win out. You know, it's about as close as you can get without losing, as far as that Seda group goes. Wayfarer. We saw that last win, and then there's some more back and forth. Boss goes on a 3-win streak with Shamira. Then back and forth, and then they get their first 2-win. They get a 2-win streak with Cody, with the Shamira group. You know, that's a strong group. But then Max says, nope, I'm putting it into it with the Zany. Let's take a quick look at the last win that Boss got with the Zany group that he has. Shadewing's getting some love in this group. And that Seismic is really working for him there. It's just basically Seismic and Zany pumping out a lot of damage, right? And then you have the fallback of Bonnie, complete. The fallback of Nightwing actually doing quite a bit of damage there. But then you also have Igor for stalling purposes as well. So, well done, Max. Alright, scroll back down to where we were. There's the boss win. And then, did we see the code? No, that was the max streak. We already saw it. Never mind. Then back and forth. Nico gets a 4-win streak. So everybody's doing pretty well. Everybody's doing some contribution. It's usually that Shamir group that's streaking for us and for them, right? Amdom gets a streak as well. Another 4-win. He's jealous of everybody else getting the streaks with Shamir, so he gets his too. A little more back and forth. Nami gets a 5-win streak. Very strong. Marcel, not a surprise. Those are our biggest streakers, I think. It's the Shamira / Marcel groups. Nico comes through with a very, very strong 6-win streak with his Marcel. Nation 93. Oh, the Siren Lily May. Another one of the strong, heavily used groups. Shanks gets a double win. Shamira. Whitebeard gets a 3-win. Marcel. Right, some more back and forth. May gets a 2-win streak with Marcel, and then they get their second 2-win, Tenchi and Shamira, of course, right? And then we finally get back to my second group. I had 5 groups on there that only got to my second one, and that's my version of a Marcel group with this just overload of all the other cell hypos. and I don't think there's really much to see here, but we're gonna watch it anyway. I have Aliceth buffing her now, giving her a little more survivability with the Aliceth save. You can see she does get to ult too. Aliceth gets to ult. And it's just nothing's gonna live through that Martial damage. Plus, I've got Bonnie, Seda, and Athalia backing her up, right? So I've got Bonnie for a little more damage because I didn't have anybody else to throw in there, to be honest with you. It's like, who can I throw in here, you know, that doesn't already belong to another group in mind? So I was like, Bonnie's not being used. I'll throw her in there. She didn't even get to do anything. Athalia got to do a little bit of work, and then Seda's there, you know, just in case they knock out my Marcel. Alright. Might want to think about putting a healer instead of Bonnie, though. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I might do some more testing, but that tested well with Bonnie in it. Let's go. Alright, and that was that entire tile. There really wasn't much else to see. We can take a quick look at the combat trials. Say starts us off with a 7. Trying gets a 3. And anytime you get past, once you get to this 825 million, any 3 or 4 win streak is a strong streak. So I get a strong 3 win. Say gets a 3 win. Trying gets a 3 win. I get a stronger 4 win. Say gets a 3 win. Seraphim gets a very strong 4 win at that point. Seraphim gets a 2. I gets a 3, Immortal gets a 2, Say gets a 3. And that maxes us out on our 40 points, right? And then there's nothing happened here except for combat trials. Ike starts off with 7, 3. Cataracts 4, Cataracts 3. Azarac, very strong 4 there. And then they end up getting 25, right? I think that's what we ended up getting there. And we got 40 here. So that's what ended up giving us that 15-point edge, because they Mordor did not get as many points here. I think they maxed out here, but not as many points here, right? So very, very, very strong opening. It's too bad we weren't going against Mordor to begin with, so we could really see what our groups are stacking up against theirs, but we saw clearly how well our groups stacked up against Aeternum. We pretty well dominated them. They only got 2 streaks of 2 on us, so we did extremely good start to show to start off the battle. But it's not going to be easy. You know, we're going to be fighting 3-way fights, probably, or maybe even a 4-way fight here. No, it'll be 3-way for sure. It'll be Mordor, Emeralds, and us maybe possibly fighting here. Then we have to worry about Emeralds possibly coming here. We have to worry about a 3-way fight here with Aeternum, us, and Mordor on the other side, right? So we could have a 3-way fight here, a 3-way fight here, a 2-way fight here, and a 2-way fight here. It's just gonna get ugly. We all know how this works. So let's stay strong and keep getting those wins. And until then, good luck to everybody, including all our rivals. Wish you luck, and we'll see who the strongest team is by the end of it. Good luck, guys.